Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Hattie. Welcome back. I am here to do another little small mukbang. This is going to be a fruit mukbang. Not sure when the last time I sat down with y'all, but just going to sit down for a little small minute to have a talk with y'all. This is also some Kool-Aid. And let's go ahead and say just a little small quick prayer. Thou art great and thou art good, and we thank thee for our food. By thine hands must to be fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen. Okay, so we're gonna do it like this. All right, so listen, y'all, before I go further, before I even start getting into this little small quick mukbang, I want to give thanks and shouts out to my college professor for that grace that I sing. That's not something I came up with myself. His name, I don't know if I said his name on this channel before a long time ago. I want to say I gave him thanks a long time ago on this channel, but I want to do it again because I give people their accolades. I don't work with him anymore. Like I said, told him we're cool. The last time that I worked with him was in college, and we're done with that, part of everything now. And his name is Dr. Westgate, Philip Todd Westgate. He is from, is it Kansas? He's from Kansas City, Missouri, or either Arkansas. It's one of the two. I can't remember. But we went to both of them when I was touring with his choir in college. The whole choir went with, he took the whole choir, the tour choir, on the road for tours and stuff. So anyway, that's that. But y'all, let's get into this Sonya Massey situation, okay? The reason why I am speaking on it is because something like that almost happened to me a few years ago, and I can post the pictures to prove it either after this video, or if you are following me on Facebook, which my name is Hattie Hairston on Facebook, you can go on there and see the pictures also. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but it hit so close to home because it could have been me a long time ago though. Looking at body cameras and body camera footage of his partners, maybe some of them were his also, but they were there primarily because she called them because of a noise or some commotion outside that she heard, and she felt like somebody was trying to break in her house. So she called them, right? And the way that he was talking to her from the moment they were on the porch, it was like he was just kind of aggressively talking to her, kind of just like edging her on and just, asking questions. And she was like, yeah, that's why I called you. And then he started saying, well, whose car is that? Why is that car in the driveway? And she was like, huh? He was like, the car, who brought the car? And she was like, they put that there. And he was like, who is they? And that part she didn't make clear, so I guess she felt like she didn't really have to say that part because she primarily called them there to check on the commotion that was going on outside. Now, yeah, I think the police, if the car isn't registered to you, of course, they might ask you what happened to the car. But how did he know that the car was not registered to her? That was before they had even gone in to check paperwork or anything on the car. So anyway, long story short, she gets in there and she's sitting down. They finally ask her for her license and all this stuff. She goes looking for it. Then she starts saying, I got papers. She looked kind of strange, like she didn't understand why they were coming at her, like she was wrong, But that's the thing. It was at nighttime, and sometimes it can be scary when you are staying by yourself, you're a female. And because he even asked her before they went in the house, he asked her, what took you so long to come to the door? Okay, yeah, she told him I was putting on clothes. He was like, yeah, did you take your meds? And she was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm straight. I took my meds. So you knew she was a mental patient, right? The water was boiling before they even got in the house, right? The water was on the stove. It's not like she took a break and was like, hold on, let me go turn on this water. The water was on. So maybe she was about to cook something or whatever was going on. Some people say that they saw her once he asked her. He the one who asked her to go over there, right? And y'all, I can't see y'all for real, so everything is blurry. I can see the images of me moving and all that stuff in the camera, but everything is blurry for y'all. Like, where her glasses? She must got new glasses or new contacts. Not yet. But thank God I can see the little bit I can. But anyway, let me get back to it. He asked her to go to the kitchen, right? Instead of him, you know, saying, what's going on? You know, I'll go turn this off because I don't feel comfortable with water on the stove boiling while I'm here. He tells her to go do it. If you were so uncomfortable, you're a police officer, you were closer to her, closer to the stove. You could have stepped over there and was like, okay, I'm gonna go turn this off real fast. Okay, so he told her to go over there, and it just seemed like everything was kind of aggressive. Some people was like, she threw the water at him. I didn't see this lady throw no water at him. I heard him asking her questions and asking her why she got the water on, what was the water on for, and she must have sensed some type of attitude with him in him from the time that they were outside on the porch to the time that they was in the house asking for identification, and then to the time he tells her to go turn it off. So she says, I bind you up and I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then he asks her again, what did you say? Right when she was over there turning the water off. And she says, I bind you up and I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And this man shot her in the face. Come on. Y'all, this is something that our parents, black, white, whatever race, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Mexican, Latino, Spanish, Indian, whatever race, y'all, we were taught to say those type of things when we're praying and we're in a bad situation. None of that was a weapon. That was a weapon from God protecting her, but not for you to shoot her because all she said was, I bind you up and I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. So you have insulted the churches, the religion of many. You have insulted God when you do stuff like that. Like, what were you thinking? And then for him not to have no remorse after he did it, his partner simply asked him, said, I'm gonna go out to the car and go get some first aid. Why did you just shoot her? And he's like, yeah, that was a headshot. Like, are you serious? And then he goes on to say that F&B is crazy. Come on, y'all, really? Now, how that relates to me, or not relates to me, how that could have happened to me. So some years ago, y'all, I can't remember how old. I know I was grown, but I might have been in my late 20s or early 30s or something like that. I'm not sure, but it has been some years ago. I was staying with my parents, and they went out of town for their anniversary. And sometimes my brother is here, or was here at the time, but he was here less then because he was married, of course, but he was here sometimes. And this day he wasn't there because most of the time then he used to like to sit outside and catch, the beautiful sun and the beautiful day, whatever. But this particular day, it was just me here. I was by myself, just, a real cool day, relaxed day. And I'm sitting in my room watching TV, and all of a sudden I hear this blue, 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 blue going on outside. And I'm looking like, what is going on? I look at my window, and to the far left, I see this Mercedes-Benz pulling into my neighbor's home driveway. Mind you, I didn't know if they were there either. So I'm like, oh, maybe they got company. And the company is having car trouble or something. But then you could tell one of the tires were flat. They were trying to move forward, couldn't move forward. They were trying to bag all the way out. And they were bagging, but they were dragging that tire that had blown out or whatever. So the next thing I know, y'all, they get on the street out of my neighbor's driveway, and they just park the car in front of my parents' house, our house. And I'm looking like, wait a minute, what is going on? Then I see the driver, which is I don't know if I need to say buff or built, chocolate black man, get out the car, get out the car that was driving. He was driving the car. Get out the car, leaves the car, takes off his shirt, and he had on a white, as y'all call it, or as we call it, wife beater, but it's a tank top, a white tank top. And he walks off our street, around the corner. So I called my parents first, and I'm like, were y'all expecting anybody or something like that? Because somebody just got out of a Mercedes-Benz and just, and I knew they weren't, expecting nobody, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. Like, hold up, maybe I'm missing something. I don't want to just accuse somebody all of a sudden. They was like, no, you probably need to call 911. So I called 911. And as I'm walking out, as I'm talking to the person, before I called my parents, I went to the front door, looked through the screen door, and the neighbor across the street was like, do you know them? And I said, no. And he was like, they put boxes under your, I guess I shouldn't say what part of across the street the neighbor was, because I don't want to, I don't know who watching this still to this day and don't know the whole story or the whole plot of what happened. So I might bleep that part out, but just know he was on one side of these streets. You don't know which side it was. But anyway, he was like, there's boxes under your carport. And I'm like, what? I look under the carport, and on the side of the grill, on the side of my parents' grill, true enough, there were brown boxes out there. And I don't go touch them, because you're not going to get my fingerprints for anything, is what I thought. So, like I said, I called my parents, told my parents what was going on, and then I called the police. And I told the police everything. I was like, there's something going on. Somebody just brought a Mercedes-Benz, had a flat tire, and it looked like it was breaking down. They first went in my driveway, my neighbor's driveway, and then it didn't work over there, so they ended up parking the car in front of our house, and he just got out and left the car. And I said, it was brought to my attention by my neighbor that he left boxes under the carport. I said, but I'm not gonna touch them. So, okay, y'all. At this point, not only me and the neighbor that was, told me about the boxes, but all of my neighbors, thank God, most of my neighbors came out and just stood in the driveway, and we talked about it. Let me tell you the power of God and the power of being protected, which is a blessing. Okay, 2 Caucasian white cops come, right? One of them is asking what was going on, how did this happen, and I'm giving him the rundown on everything. And he was like, oh, okay, that must have been, he was running from the cops. He was running from the cops is what they said. He was running from the cops. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he said, yeah, that's probably, he had some stolen merchandise, and that's probably why he put the boxes one place in the car, this place. Now, I can't remember. I want to say besides them coming, it was another cop that went down that way. But I want to say they weren't focused on him, y'all. They were focused on talking to me, because they weren't even trying to go. Most cops like, we'll be back. We got to go see if we can get him, this, that, and the other. Where did he go? Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how they do their law enforcement. But it seemed like it would have made sense for them to go that way, see what was going on, or at least leave one here to go down that way. But anyway, long story short, we were talking to the cops. And I was giving the rundown on everything that happened. And I told them, I said, I didn't touch the boxes. I don't know what's in the boxes. I didn't touch them because I didn't want my fingerprints on it. I didn't want nobody trying to frame me and said that I had the boxes first. So as we're talking, and one of the officers is asking all the questions and coming to a narrative of everything and getting all the information, one of the cops just all of a sudden busts out and say, oh, okay, so you sure you didn't do it? You didn't have anything to do with it? And so me and my neighbors are looking like, what? How did you get me having something to do with it when I'm the one who called y'all, because it happened to me at my parents' home? Like, what good would that have done me to call the police on myself? And so I told him, I said, no. I said, I had no idea what was going on. All I heard was some commotion going on outside. I go to the window. I see him tussling with the Mercedes Benz. And then he comes out of my neighbor's yard and puts it on in front of our street, in front of our house, excuse me, in front of our house. And so he's like, oh, okay. And at first I thought he was joking, but he didn't cut no smile. And so my neighbors was like, oh, no, wait a minute. She's not that type of girl. She's not that type of girl. Mind you, I'm not looking ghetto. I'm not looking ratchet. I'm not looking classless. I'm not looking like I'm finna, you know, do something to nobody. I'm with a cute, I think at that time I had a cute, pretty braided hairstyle. Might have had curls in it. I'm dressed appropriately. At that time I wasn't on my sexy side, so I had on like some cute, maybe some type of fitted clothes, but they weren't revealing anything, nothing. So I'm looking like, well, how did he get that from me calling them on the person? So finally they call and they get like a tow truck to come get the Mercedes Benz. Still no update on whether they caught the boy or nothing. So was that a setup where, you know, some people work with the police department, and you know what I'm saying, you never know who's working with them to try to set somebody up. I'm not sure. But her thing sound like a total setup because of me hearing, and I didn't see it that part myself, any videos of them saying that they were there earlier with Sonya, but I do know that the way that she was talking, he knew she was had some type of mental problem, and it was brought to my attention that she may have had on a wristband, but that part I have not seen either. For a mental patient, I didn't see that either. But anyway, long story short, that could have happened to me, just like he was asking her on there, where did that car come from, this, that, and the other. I'm looking like, well, dog, that happened to me, and I still have pictures from that. I'm not going to show my neighbors, but I will show you the car being on the tow truck, the Mercedes Benz that was dropped off in front of the house. Because I was just like, wait a minute, at the end of the day, I had no idea what was going on. And so one of the cops asked me, can I call you tonight? Can I call you after hours? And I'm looking like, if it's not about the case, then no, what is going on? So long story short, y'all, that could have been me. The way that cop was trying to turn it around and make it seem like I may have had something to do with it. And the same way you saw Sonya looking around like, what's going on? But see, the advantage that they had over her was that she was a mental patient. Now, I applaud the other cops that came that was looking at him like, bro, something don't sound right. Something don't look right. Something don't sound right. With such and such, I think it's on the recording, it said it was Dawson. You know, when the closed captions pop up, it said it was Dawson in there with you. But I don't know if that was the other partner's name. But he was like, oh yeah, he was right there. He could tell you. He could tell you everything. But even Dawson was questioning like, did you shoot her? Like, why, why did he even have to shoot the lady? Like, boiling water, and I didn't see her trying to throw anything at him. I saw her ducking because she was scared of him. And I think she started binding him up and rebuking him in the name of Jesus. If we can't call on the name of Jesus in a tight situation, y'all, this world is so evil. That's what we were taught. Everybody was taught to pray. If this goes wrong, pray. Are you serious? And you took that right from her? Lord, have mercy on her soul and her family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were so wrong for that. That cop was so wrong for that. But like I said, I applaud the other cops for coming and standing and just coming to a mutual ground. Like, this was not called for. That did not deserve this. And he was the one who had he not told her to go over there and turn off the pot, she wouldn't have even went over there to try to throw water on him. You know what I'm saying? And some people, if they live by themselves, you never know what their weapon is to stop an invader, an intruder, from coming into the house. Maybe that was her defense. That was the only defense she had, was to be able to throw water. Maybe she forgot to turn off the water. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not with the whole, to somebody I know and I care and I love for, I could never harm them. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have been something I thought of. But how we know she wasn't trying to cook something, How we know she wasn't boiling water to make some coffee or some tea? She might have been like just out of her mind, like what is going on? And then why the policemen's questioning me about what's going on? And they're here to help me. Now it should have ended where they was on the porch and it said, we went in the back of your house, the neighbor's house. We searched all around your house, the neighbor's house, and we didn't see anybody. Okay, well, thank you. And they ended it. And then he goes into whose car is that? If she didn't complain about the car, what are we talking about the car for? But that's where they start saying that they were there earlier that day. But all I can remember is the dad was saying, oh my God, he thought they told him, and the operator 911 said that it was a self-inflicted wound. Are you serious? Why would you come to that realization? How did you come to that? And then the son was like, I don't know what happened. Nobody told me what, nobody told me who did it. Nobody told me who did it. He just knew that his mom had been, got shot or whatever. She was deceased. But that's sad, y'all. We have to come together as a human race, a human people, and just, stand together on everything. You see a neighbor out, maybe struggling, and you see a policeman around, not necessarily saying go get in their business, but just keep an eye on the situation. Because that could have been, and it was at nighttime, so that was the advantage that he had over her. She was there alone. It was her word against theirs. He thought he was going to get away with it, but the body camera of his partner, and as people would say, but God, but God in that situation was there to see the whole thing unfold and happen. And then you still walking outside putting tape on the situation and then gonna say that F&B is crazy. Everybody's looking like, nah, it sound like you. And then they say he had a record. He had a record of that. So he probably should have been suspended and off that force. You know what I'm saying? I applaud the policemen that to protect, and the ones that do have a great heart and wonderful mind about everything, because we have a country full of good policemen, but there are some that are bad. There are some that are crooked. And I normally don't speak on this because, you know what, I'm like, that ain't my business. But at the same time, that could have been me, you know what I'm saying, a couple of years ago. And when I got ready to get out the hospital, because I had gone through so much with my surgery, I had a near-death situation. I was supposedly, they was asking me, did I want medicine? And I was like, no, I'm gonna pray to God and get over this. I'm gonna pray to God and get over this, because I'm not trying to be funny. And no offense to anybody who is on a depression medicine for something else. I was on depression medicine, or not. Well, in the hospital I was, because of what happened. I chose to discontinue taking the medicine before I left the hospital because of me not wanting to run into anybody out here that was like that officer, that doesn't believe you if they see a wristband on, if they see you taking meds. The first thing those type of cowards are going to say is, it was her medication. She didn't take her medication. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want that to go on. And so I said, One nurse tried to make it seem like it was forced. Another nurse that I asked, she said, you don't have to have this. And am I so thankful for that nurse, because the other one was trying to make me feel like I had to have that. And so I'm so happy I refused it, because it's just like during Black History Month, or like Dr. King, Martin Luther King, and these other people of justice have told us back in the day, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Don't waste it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody make you waste your mind. If I see that is going on, I'm going to speak on it. I'm going to say something. And eventually I'm going to remove myself from you, because there is something going on. That situation seemed too much like mine. with how everything was set up. But the only thing is, nothing was going on in my house. I met them in the driveway, so they didn't even have a chance to come into my house. Right? And those were our rights. If we asked you about a situation that was going on outside, there was no reason to come into the house. And because I had all my neighbors around, there was no lying. So I thank God for that. And I always ask God to protect me, protect my neighbors, protect my family, protect this community, because they have been nothing short of amazing around here. Even if I was to move, I ask that God continues to protect this area, because recently, the only commotion that we have had, and I don't know how long, was a few months ago, maybe last year, end of last year, or the beginning of this year. A couple moved over there across the street in a house that became vacant because one of my neighbors and his wife passed away after they moved with their son in another city and state. So the house became available to buy or rent. And so the first couple, which I think was a gay couple, came over there and stayed. And I think they didn't like the circumstances, so they left. And then a new couple came. And her and him seemed to have been cool people. But all of a sudden, one night, I'm just watching TV, and all of a sudden, outside my window, I'm hearing like this loud fussing at each other going on. And my first thing is like, what's going on? So I kind of go to the window and see what's going on. Police out there. Another police drive up. And then it's like the same thing happened another day in the daytime. Police drive up. More than one police drove up to see what was going on. They was arguing. So I was like, what is going on? But that's the only commotion we have had in this neighborhood for so many years. But anyway, I want to say rest in peace to Sonya Massey, and may your spirit, your soul be at rest. And I pray that justice is served. And I'm thankful we know that it was the police that did it, that the body cameras were on. That you weren't framed to make it look like you did it yourself, or you weren't framed to make it look like somebody else had come in and did it. Like the intruder, whoever it was, had come in and did it. So there was even speculation of something else surrounding the situation, thinking that that officer may have been the one that was outside of her community. I'm not sure. I don't know. You know, people spread when the whole story isn't told, people speculate and spread stuff. So I won't say that much about it, but I will say I'm thankful that he was caught, and I pray that justice is served, because you took an innocent life of a person who meant no harm. It didn't seem like she was trying to be mean, rude, or anything. And you could have left when you cut off and said, okay, well, we checked everything out here and nothing was going on. Point blank period. That should have been the end. Going in the house to make it seem like she had done something that could have been avoided. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it. Justice for Sonya Massey. Prayers for her and her family. May her soul rest in peace and her legacy live forever on. And that nobody else, black, white, Indian, Hispanic, Native American, whatever nationality out there, African, Mexican, Spanish, Latino, whatever y'all, Asian, Japanese, Russian, anybody that I can think of, all of these Arabic people, any of those people, that none of this happened to those people or to us, anybody else. Let's stop the violence and spread love. And it seemed like he needed some help. He was asking her, did she take her medicine? But what about his medicine? Or what about you not being on the force? If you see something like this or somebody on the force, y'all, like, I ain't telling the police what to do, so don't come targeting me, okay? Don't come targeting me, because God will get you before you get to me. But anyway, because I'm not a bad person and I don't choose to do anything wrong. But check this out. If you see somebody like that on your force, please report them. This could have been avoided because it seemed like he has had a lot of charges against him. Please report this. But see, this is she was his bait. Like, you set yourself up. They might have been watching you, and this is the last straw. But I hate somebody had to lose their life for it to happen, right? So come on, y'all. Let's stand together. Let's spread love. Let's learn how to communicate to each other without having attitudes. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves love and all this other stuff, okay? Let's become a nation of peace, a nation of one body, one sound, okay? If everybody's on one accord, we straight. It ain't no reason to hate off a race, a color, a skin tone, brown skin, dark skin, light skin, whatever, okay? It is not a way, whatever race you are, black, white, however. White, black, whatever you want to say it. There is no reason for hate amongst us, okay? So that's all I'm going to say. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all. This is so good and fresh. Woo! Look at that strawberry. And I put a little sweetener on here, too. They were already super sweet. Whether you're from Chinatown or wherever you are, y'all, let's love each other, okay? Peace, love, and happiness. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And this was my little story time on the whole Sonya Massey situation. And this is a way for me to get my situation that happened to me a few years out that was similar to hers, okay? Bye. Again, policemen, don't come targeting me for nothing. I am not a bad person. I am not killer. This was simply to educate people on what is going on in the world. Educational purposes only. That's it. Goodbye.